Okay, everyone, I'm going to depict this entire scenario for you. So, welcome to the Philadelphia Flyers Bakery. I'm Amadeo Gracia, your owner of this fine establishment. Oh, look, a Kasperi Kapanen of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Welcome to the bakery. Here, Shane Gostisbehere is going to serve you a hot, fresh turnover right out of the oven. Oh, look, you scored off of that. Well, we are going to give that to you the entire night. Again, a Malkin. Do you want some turnovers? Here you go. You didn't score on them, but we're going to be most likely giving to you the rest of the night. They're on the house at this point. Like, what the hell was that game? What the hell was that performance? It wasn't good. It was unacceptable. It was inexcusable to be that sloppy on the ice. And yeah, going into this game, Sidney Crosby gets added to the COVID protocol. One of the Penguins coaches gets added to the protocol as well. So, you're not playing against Sidney Crosby in this game. That's not where the big importance is, because Pittsburgh is notoriously known for their win percentage without Crosby in the lineup. So Pittsburgh's still a good team when he's not playing. So they're known for that. So this game definitely wasn't easy pickings for you, like maybe some other people would have thought it would have been. But to put that type of performance, a season where Evgeny Malkin has not been playing his best hockey, to where this game was probably the best he has played this entire season, to where you were literally coughing up the puck at any given moment, to where you score the first goal of the game, and then a huge turnover by Gostisbehere to Kasperi Kapanen goes right into your net. Turnovers galore the entire night, and then you take bad penalties, and then you can't score on the power play because our power play is terrible, and it, for some reason, cannot score against one of the worst penalty kills in the league. 29th ranked. I've not to mention the Flyers are the worst penalty kill in the league. One of the worst. Probably worse than the Penguins, because the Flyers made the Penguins penalty kill look like they were the best. Because, we can't generate any type of transition into the zone, can't win the opening faceoff, can't get pucks to the net, have trouble making passes. We look lost. We looked lost majority of the time on the power play, and it's becoming a major issue night in and night out. And the same thing with this penalty kill. It's becoming a major issue night in and night out. I know we killed all the penalties against the Buffalo Sabres over the weekend, but granted, I know Buffalo has the best power play in the league, but Buffalo is a bad team. They're a bad team. They can get shut down easily. So it was going to be a different contest coming into this game against the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're a way better team than Buffalo. They are. In this Eastern Division, it's top 5 teams at this point, and then you have your bottom feeders. Penguins are one of those 5 teams. Yeah, they don't have Crosby in the lineup. Wasn't going to be easy either. It wasn't going to be easy pickings. You couldn't play like that. You could not play like that. My only positive takeaways from this game: the first line continues to be dynamic. They continue to generate chances. They continue to score. Joel Farabee producing both goals in this game. Sean Couturier just scoring at will at this point, getting many points on the board as possible. JVR doing the same exact thing. And this game, I'm not putting on Carter Hart. It's not Hart's fault, because when you have, for some reason, 2 Pittsburgh forwards that are allowed to get behind the defenseman, and the defensemen just look like they have no idea where those players are, and literally Carter Hart has to fight off 2 people when a rebound's right in front of him. I mean, what is he supposed to do at this point? And when you have beautiful passing plays on the power play, where basically you have Travis Konecny coughing right up at the end of the game to Matheson, and Alain Vigneault telling Carter Hart to go to Poland to get the extra attacker on there, and that's when TK turned the puck over at the worst possible time. What else is he supposed to do? I mean, really, at this point. He's being hung out to dry. He is. And he made some huge saves in this game to keep you in it. And hell, you made it a 1-goal game, and then boom, right that Pittsburgh made it a 2-goal game once again. It's the leads that evaporate, and when we have a chance to even come back into the game, we let that evaporate too. What is momentum? What is momentum for this team? I have no idea. Because you had 2 power plays to start off this game. Couldn't score on them. Okay, you get out of the first period scoreless. You outshot them. Carter Hart had to make some saves, yes, but you got out of the period scoreless. And you killed off one of their power plays as well. So, okay, you got scoreless. And then you kill off the Pittsburgh penalty at the start of the power play at the start of the second period, and you get a goal off of that from a beautiful play by the first line of Sean Couturier and Joel Farabee. Beautiful back and forth passing play. Farabee puts it into the empty net. It's a 1-0 lead. But then instantly, when we look like we have some type of momentum. In this play, I have no idea what was transpiring during this entire thing. I have no idea what Kevin Hayes was doing. I have no idea what Claude Giroux was doing. And hell, the God's name, I had no idea what Ghost was doing. Hayes going backwards. G's going backwards with the pass. Then giving it to Ghost. And then Ghost trying to go cross crease when there was no one there at the blue line. For some reason, Provorov was on the other side of the blue line at the wall. And Ghost, for some reason, tried to pass it to him when there was literally 2 Pittsburgh players in that area. And what do you know? He turns it over to Kasperi Kapanen, turns it into a breakaway, fakes out Carter Hart with the slap shot to get him moving a little bit, and then goes 5-0. Ties the game at 1. And then we take a bad penalty. Michael Raffl takes I think it was an interference call. Penguins go to the power play. Beautiful passing play, and it turns into another goal by Kasperi Kapanen. A beautiful passing play by Rust and Guentzel to get Carter Hart to move out of his crease, and they get a wide open net for Kasperi Kapanen to make it 2-1. And you know, Kasperi Kapanen almost had a natural hat trick, but then Carter Hart had to come up with this huge save on the one-timer from him. So you know your goaltender was keeping you in the game. It's like, hey, you're leaving him to dry right here, guys. You're leaving him to dry because you know we're looking terrible. We're looking terrible. We can't get out of our own zone. We're turning the puck over in our own zone. And we can't generate anything. Like, what's going on? What's going on? And then you get the halfway mark of the period. The second goal by Kasperi Kapanen, and then the third Penguins goal come not that long after one another. It's once again that first line by the Penguins. They were causing problems for a lot of players the entire night. Malkin on the point, throwing one to the net. Gostisbehere and Provorov have no idea that Guentzel and Rust are in front of Carter Hart. Hart coughs up the rebound, and then there's no one there to protect him. There's no one there to fight for the rebound. Rust gets it immediately, puts it right for the 5-0. 3-1 Penguins. And the Flyers had a chance to make it 3-2 in the second period. Another chance by the first line. JVR, for some reason, I have no idea how this puck didn't go in. Had a wide open net, somehow just couldn't bury it. And you go into the third period down 3-1. And you had a power play going into the third period. You got one in the late stages, transpired over into the third period. Looked terrible to start off, looked terrible overall. And then they gifted you with another power play, like not even seconds after. And once again, it looked terrible. It looked absolutely terrible. Even Ghost was taking off that power play at that point. You were seeing Sanheim on the first unit. You could tell by that turnover that AV was taking Ghost's time away a little bit. And rightfully so, because Ghost was terrible, because even after that first goal by Kapanen, Ghost had another juicy turnover that turned into a breakaway, and thankfully Hart saved it. And then there was more turnovers that led to a breakaway in the third period. Hart had to save it as well. You get another goal it was a little bit of a fluky play by the Flyers in this first line once again. Joel Farabee finding a way to find the puck. Got JVR, also Sanheim's involved in the play. Farabee managing to bury, getting his second of the game, getting his 10th of the season, which is a nice mark for him. Make it 3-2. But then, in minutes after, somehow, the Flyers allow Cody Ceci to score. Cody Ceci, a defenseman that's not good. They allow him to score. And you know what? Flyers legend Mark Friedman got a point on that. He did. And Friedman also, at the end of the game, drew a penalty on Michael Raffl, and they were going at it. They were going at it. And then, the goal that just ceases to amaze me at the end of the game by Mike Matheson. This turnover by Konechny. It just... Why? I know you could also question why is Alain Vigneault pulling Carter Hart already this early when the Flyers are not even set up in the zone. Yeah, you could pull a question to that. But Konechny just gave up the juiciest turnover in the world. And Matheson, he took a chance, and Carter Hart almost actually got up with the glove, but it went by him into the empty net. Make it 5-2. Flyers just shot themselves in the foot too many times in this game. Shot themselves way too much. This game is completely unacceptable. You cannot have a performance like that against a rival that you're fighting in the standings for. And yeah, granted, you do have a couple of games in hand on them still. You're going to have 2 games in hand on them even when you finish this 3-game set. I guess that's the one thing that's benefiting you. But you got to get wins. You got to get points. And these next 2 games now, Thursday and Saturday, these games are now mandatory wins. You cannot let a series like this slide because this type of 3-game set is so crucial in the standings. It is so crucial because you play this team for the next 2 games. Then you play Washington 3 games next week. These games are so crucial in the standings, and you cannot afford to give up points. You just cannot afford that. And the way you played tonight was completely unacceptable. It was completely unacceptable. Ghost had a terrible game. I honestly think that the first line to me, okay, they're off the hook. Because they're the only ones that are generating anything. They are the only ones that have been generating anything for the past, I would say, 4 games, really. And you can also sprinkle in the 4th line when Nicolas Aube-Kubel was actually in the lineup. I still don't understand why he was. I understand Konechny's coming back into the lineup, but I don't know. I'm not the coach. I am not the coach. It's also, granted, a little overreaction at this point as well, but this game is completely unacceptable. You cannot play like this. You cannot go out there and perform and give up all of these turnovers. All of them. You just cannot. And I think from the stat line, actually, apparently both teams had 8 giveaways. It felt like a lot more. But even though those turnovers are probably even more crucial on the Flyers side because they allowed Pittsburgh to score so many times off those turnovers. You can call Pittsburgh the more opportunistic team. You definitely could. You can't turn the puck over like that. And this game is also showcasing the glaring issue that the Flyers still need a top 4 defenseman to help settle things down. Because Provorov had a terrible game. He had a juicy turnover that gave it to Malkin. Thankfully, he didn't score on that. But still, it was a juicy turnover nonetheless. Gostisbehere had a terrible game. Your best defenseman out there was Justin Braun. That's saying something. It is really saying something when your best defenseman was Justin Braun. And actually, he had a really good first period against Malkin. He did. And then once Pittsburgh, they got the matchup, they took him away from Justin Braun. Malkin had a much better game. That first line had a much better game when Malkin was not paired against Justin Braun. That's really saying something. When your best defender, Provorov, cannot somehow match up to Malkin. I just don't understand. I don't understand how. But it's like I said, not even going to go into the state where I don't understand. It's a definite need that this team really needs a top 4 defenseman. This game is a glaring issue of that. Or it's like the game where it perfectly describes what they need. Because the defense was all over the place tonight. All over the place. In their own zone, coughing the puck over in the offensive zone, can't transition through the neutral zone. It just wasn't good enough. They looked lost, they looked scrambled, and they looked confused. Absolutely confused. And they'll leave Carter Hart to drive once again. This game is not on Carter Hart. He was the only reason you were in the game to begin with. He was making the saves. It's just one too many turnovers, and he's not going to stop all of them. He's not going to. And like I said, the first line and Carter Hart are the only players that I give a break in this game. Because the first line, like I said, they're the only ones generating any chances. Where's the second line been? Where's Drew been? Where's Hayes been? Where's Patrick been? Yeah, they're getting plays in the offensive zone. Where's the goals? Where's the points? Those guys got to get it going. And you saw at the end of the game that Konechny was put on that second line with Hazy and with G. So maybe it showcases maybe Patrick gets moved down into the lineup. Maybe Aube-Kubel comes back into the lineup. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe Patrick gets benched. You never know. You never know what AV's going to do for next game because there's definitely going to be some shakeup for next game. The only thing that's most likely not going to be touched is the first line because that line has been way too dynamic. Second line is most likely going to get shaken up. Third line could get shaken up. Fourth line could get shaken up. Even the defensive pairings could get shaken up. You just never know what's going to happen. Ghost could be benched. Pay could be benched. You could see Gustafsson back in the lineup, even though Gustafsson and Ghost are basically the same exact thing. Gus is just worse in the defensive zone. But you never know. You never know. And it's funny, too, because the Flyers outshot Pittsburgh in this game. So it's another game where the Flyers have 40-plus shots in a game. But Pittsburgh was the more opportunistic team. And Jarry had a good game. Jarry for Pittsburgh had a good game. And like I said, Pittsburgh was the more opportunistic team. And the Flyers continuously shot themselves in the foot the entire game. And that cannot continue to happen. It just can't. You can't be giving up this many turnovers to this team. You can't be giving up weight. You just can't be doing that. And the power play needs to wake up. The power play in their last 3 games, I think they're over 11. Over 11 on the power play. It's not good enough. And I think there was a stat line going into this game. The Flyers were 4 for their last 32 on the power play. That power play sucks. Our power play is terrible. For as much skilled players as we have on that power play, for some reason we cannot get it going. Now, is it a personnel thing? Is it a coach thing? We just don't know. In my opinion, the first thing it's going to go down to is the coach and Michel Therrien, to where his power play setup has been trash ever since he got here. It was trash. Oh, I wouldn't say it was trash majority of last season because it worked at some points, but the power play was exposed in the playoffs, and the power play has been exposed this year. It's not good enough. So maybe Michel Therrien's at fault. The players are at fault. The power play, just to summarize, it's bad. It's really bad, and the penalty kill is also bad. So the Flyers shot themselves in the foot too many times in this game. This game is completely unacceptable, and now you just got to move on to the next. You got 2 more games against this team this week. You got to get points. 4 points are mandatory. They are mandatory. You cannot go on a skid right now. You just can't. You beat up 3 bad teams in the Rangers, in Buffalo, 3 times. And now you're going up against actual competition. You gotta see what this team is made of. We have to. And yes, granted, it's a little bit of overreaction. But you also have to be a little bit realistic at the same time. And this game showcased what the Flyers still need. They're still missing a top 4 defenseman. And it was a glaring issue the entire game. A glaring issue on the defensive side. Way too many turnovers. So, what are your thoughts on this game overall? What are your thoughts on the Flyers going into the next game? What lineup changes do you think they're going to make? Personnel changes? Whatever. I want to hear your thoughts about it. So don't forget to leave the comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. Don't forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I am a part of. Their links will be in the description below. Don't forget to check out the Florida Podcast merchandise website. We're actually going to be doing a podcast tomorrow, and I think around 8 p.m. We're going to have the podcast live streaming on the Painted Lines here, TTP Sports and Flyers Fan Mania 93. Me, Chris, Tyson's actually going to be on the show this time, and also Jason Martinez is going to be a guest on the show for us. So we're going to be discussing this game tonight and just look at the NHL overall, and I guess just the Flyers' upcoming stretches of games and what Jason thinks. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.